Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, it's those guys with your host Matt here, along with your other host,
Tristan.
We're trying to get that out of the way because we know that we're going to fill up the full 2-hour podcast limit that we have here on Blog Talk Radio, talking about this extremely long piece of media today. I mean, this thing was a whopping. Tristan, this thing was long.
Matt, we're gonna need all that. We're gonna need that 2 hours for all the nostalgia. Only only 10 minutes of it is actually going to be the content we're reviewing.
Well, because the reason why, funnily enough, is because, it's weird if we're talking about, Dragon Ball Z and I talk about every single show that was airing in Japan or in the U.S. around the time Dragon Ball Z aired. It's okay, but, review the movie. In this case, with the, by the way, of course, today we're talking about the Toonami Trapped in Hyperspace, TIE, the Total Immersion event. And the thing is with these, they're usually so short that, we're not going to take the full 2 hours. But, if we do end up taking an hour, it's because of the fact that this thing was, it was literally almost 6 minutes long, not even 6 minutes long. And we don't really have much to say about it other than, what we have to say about it and the game included and some history about that, a little bit of history in this one. And other than that, it's let's just go down memory lane and talk about stuff that aired at the time. Because there was a lot of interesting anime that premiered. You were telling me about one before we began the podcast. Before we even get to that, I want to mention that it's really funny how when we usually it wasn't my first thought when I said, hey, let's do The Intruder. This wasn't my first thought for Toonami TIE events, doing podcasts on them. But now I've realized that these TIE events, that's funny. I'm literally calling them total immersion events. It's like when someone says rest, R.I.P. in peace. But anyway, but seriously though, when I thought about doing these TIEs, it never occurred to me that they've actually turned into something that you and I go, shit, dude, we're busy. What can we podcast on that isn't 18 hours? That isn't 18 hours, and it's a total immersion event. It's sure. Yeah, this is fun. But still, so I didn't realize they were going to become this, but they've now become this. So the anime that you were talking about in particular was actually Hamtaro.
Yep.
Which, I'll do the rundown later of all the fun anime that came out the year that this aired. One thing I probably have said this before during our TIE podcast, but still, and of course this is coming out for Anna Saturday, but still, little subsection TIE, Toonami TIE. When I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure I have. I love how these came out around September because I guess it's kind of all right, kids, you have to go back to school. So here's something cool. And then for me, it's it was just, for me though, it was it was just my birthday. My birthday happened, and then school, which is sad, but then Toonami events. Yay. That was fun for me as a kid. That must have been fun.
Yeah.
But so do you remember this event? Because I know you remember The Intruder. What was the track record thus far? What have you remembered and not remembered?
Well, I remember bits of Intruder. I definitely remembered Lockdown. It's funny. I remember it happened, but I didn't really remember much about it. And then this one, I remember the promos, and I remember, when I think of Trapped in Hyperspace, I can see the Absolution, spinning out of control through the wormhole. I remember. But then I forgot it was oh, right, the dude hacked into, the Absolution's flight computer and took Sarah, and, the Absolution was infected with a virus. I'm that's what happened.
Yeah, because Swayze looks familiar, but I didn't piece together that he was from this.
Right.
Because, of course, it's been a long time. I'm pretty sure I watched Toonami religiously.
Yeah.
Like, I had to have. I mean, I'm sure there were moments that I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I watched Toonami religiously. So, like, I had to have seen this. But then also what would happen is, Matt, what would make you betray your religion? The kids WB.
Yeah.
Well, because I've talked to you about this before, Tristan. Whenever, depending on what shows started airing on Kids WB, something like, when I think at the time I maybe didn't know that Yu-Gi-Oh was on Saturdays, I think, because I might have been 10, so that makes sense, I think. Or if it was on Saturdays, it was the newest ones, and they were playing replays during the week. So I'm like,
right.
Have I seen this episode of Dragon Ball Z? Oh, I have. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Right.
So that's kind of what would take me away from Toonami. Usually, it would be stuff, like either Yu-Gi-Oh or just something that, like Jackie Chan Adventures, definitely something that wasn't new, but it was new to me because maybe I missed it for a bit, airing new on Saturdays or something.
Right.
Although certain shows, I think like Jackie Chan Adventures, I think at first they may have been bought in syndication. I don't know if you know what that means.
No.
No, it's fine if you don't. I was just generally asking.
No.
What was that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Other people need to hear what you say too. It's not just. I know it's just you and me, but other people listen to us. Not a lot of people, but other people listen.
Oh shit! People listen to us?
Right. If you're going to bring words, Tristan, you have to share it with the entire class.
I thought I was just mumbling into a microphone for 2 hours. Damn it.
Yeah, right. Matt, you've never told me that we've been doing this. People see all of the shit that we've done, all of the times that you've been on camera. Matt, you never told me.
That was a camera.
Anyway. By the way, this is a side note. Everyone's seen this. If you guys are watching, or those guys on the radio YouTube channel, I've seen your cat's butthole. It was Belle's butt was just right in the camera, and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. Because we're talking about, the Broly, the Dragon Ball Super movie, and all I see is a tail wagging like a Saiyan's tail. Anyway, it's just really funny to me. But anyway, back to what matters. Right. Just talking about, I don't know how we got sidetracked, but still, I don't, I want to say that I remember this, but, I feel like, maybe, Kids WB was pulling me to the side for a little bit, and I just didn't really, notice this one. Or maybe I thought they were played out because they didn't happen every year. I don't know. Right? I don't know what happened. All I know is that if some of you guys actually watched this to go down nostalgia, memory lane, you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I see they're talking about this. Let me actually go back and rewatch it. He said it was 6 minutes, but let me see, if it was actually entertaining. It's just like the second one, which was not Intruder. The second one was Lockdown.
Yeah.
And the issue with Lockdown, and granted, it's just, they were not making this so that people like you and I with beards could fucking watch this on YouTube. What the fuck was a YouTube at the time? What, fucking 16 years later?
Yeah.
These were not made for 16-year later selves. This was made for both of us at 10 years old going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So,
right.
But there is something that, and I didn't think it was actually going to be the case with this game because it wasn't the case with Intruder or Lockdown, as far as I know. But sadly, the game that attached itself to this, which I don't know if it was called Hyperspace or if it was called Trapped in Hyperspace. I don't know what name it had to it. I'll look it up again. I can't remember off the top of my head. But sadly, it's been lost to time.
Right.
Which is what everyone's saying, because of course, all this stuff is just code on Cartoon Network's website, and unless that stuff either gets leaked or copied or pasted and people are really paying attention and really trying to go in there and dig through their art, their shit to, move it over to other servers and things like that, this shit just gets lost,
Right.
So it's really frustrating because I saw that apparently there was a beta leak, but it is unplayable.
Right.
And I found someone on archive.org that said, "Is this the game?" and actually posted a file that I couldn't play because apparently Google Chrome can't play Adobe Shockwave. Like, it can't play the extension. So I tried opening up with Internet Explorer, which you shared a meme the other day, which killed me. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was Power Rangers. Right.
Yes. No, it was Internet Explorer's logo over Rita Repulsa's face, or Bendora, if you will. And as she's, and it's like when you accidentally open up Internet Explorer instead of like Firefox or Chrome, and she's just stretching, going, after 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth.
I saw that and immediately thought of you.
Yeah, of course. You tagged a bunch of people, which is really funny. I think you tagged Toto too, didn't you? Another podcaster, Let's Player. Yeah. But still, it was just, it's really frustrating that this game is allegedly lost. And even if it isn't lost and that is the actual file, as time moves on, certain applications, just even if they get updated, just something goes wrong, and it's just, I don't know, it really does suck in my opinion. But I mean, what can you do, It happens. I will say, though, I do believe Firefox could also run the extension, so I'm going to see if that could work. But it was just weird because I was trying to work it with Internet Explorer, but as I'm trying to, it sucks because when you're trying to look up, can this open the thing? People are like, yes, it can, and then they show you tutorials that are 4 years old, and the thing hasn't been updated. It was updated since those 4 years. So you're like, God damn it. It's actually really frustrating. I'm sure many of you guys online, anyone really listening in, has found that they're like, I want to see a tutorial for this. But if that tutorial is more than 1 year old, you're like, well, that's worthless.
Right.
That's completely worthless. You know what I'm saying? If someone's giving you a Skype tutorial from 5 years ago, the amount of time Skype is like, would you like to update?
Yeah.
It's a worthless tutorial. The entire layout is probably really different.
Right.
Which is what happened with Internet Explorer. I was like, it's not showing me the thing where it says the thing is. So that could be the actual game on my hard drive right now. Doesn't fucking matter. So anyway, let's tears aside. Swayze, that has to be a reference to Patrick Swayze. I know he wasn't in Star Wars, like all the other Star Wars references they've had over the last two TIEs, but he has to. But it has to be a reference. Swayze it's just a really weird name, and I know it's funny space alien names, but it just sounds so much like Swayze.
I mean, maybe.
I wouldn't put it past them.
That reference this reference is up to you, Matt.
Yeah, right. I love it. You're like, I'm the Star Wars guy. You're the Patrick Swayze. I am not the Patrick Swayze guy. I have never been. I've never seen one episode of Baywatch. I am not the Swayze guy.
Well,
anyway,
you are now.
I mean, I saw his roast, so I guess I'm closer to that than you are.
Yep.
Yep, that's clearly what it is.
Funny. You know what he almost reminded me of? Now that I think about it, and thinking about WB being, the other pole of what to watch.
What?
You remember Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase?
Oh.
Remember the Cyber
but
Ghost?
That guy wasn't that one light blue?
Yeah, he was like lightning. That's why I said kind of.
Oh, okay. Because you know what he reminds me of? Like a fucking Bionicle.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, he had that kind of like mouth guard and like glowing eyes.
It's really the spikes on his head. Like, there's something about his 3D model that I'm like, huh, you look like a toy that was like a toy 3D model that was repurposed for this one event.
I mean, I could see it.
Probably. I mean, all jokes aside, like, we make a lot of dumb jokes here and a lot of shitty observations, but, like, probably. There's nothing saying that they couldn't have just fucked with an asset that they just had in the fucking, you know, on some computer somewhere. They were like, what do we do for the villain? He's only going to appear in 5 of these shorts and a game. All right, fuck it.
I loved it how he was supposed to be, like, this interdimensional conqueror, too. Like, even Sarah was like, or at some point, like, yeah, he's you know, taken out countless other worlds.
But he seems so quippy.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, that makes sense. Like, of course he's supposed to be, oh, he's done these terrible things. It's like, well, now that he's up against Tom and Sarah and Earth, he's fucked. Which he was.
Well, no. I said quippy as in, like, you would okay, because I think what they did was because Tom is always the, hey, I'm the calm one, you know, I'm Tom. They tried to have someone who's like, oh, yeah, well, you know what, I'm a jerk, like, in your face. But when you describe him like the conqueror of worlds, you think he's just like, Tom, pleasure.
Right.
But he just comes off and he's making these jokes, and I'm just like, this is confusing. His face does not match his everything else.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it too. Like, he was starting to get shaken up after, you know, everybody joining in on the game, like, helping out. You know, he's like, I forget exactly what Tom said to him, but he's like, yeah, you've been doing a great job so far. And he's like, shut up!
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
I
we'll
love
come
the
for
line.
you later. And then he ignores him. He's like, come on, throw him off. Got to keep him angry.
I love the line, oh, if this doesn't work, you have to find yourself a new job.
Right. Don't worry. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Like, as he's going to, because if it didn't work, he would have crashed into Earth. That would have been terrible.
I feel like Clyde would have just been, like, the bot is just like, what? What? No, please, this is the only thing I have.
What's funny is, so, yeah, I didn't realize this until obviously we're watching these, not in a marathon format, but we are watching these and, you know, releasing them. Clyde is a thing. Like, he's just just one of the robots that he doesn't really talk, but Tom's like, yeah, no, that's Clyde. Fuck yeah. And I'm like, because wasn't Clyde in the Intruder?
Yeah, no, Clyde's been there since the beginning. There were multiples too. There were multiple Clydes. Like, at least in the first one, I think they kind of bumped it down to like just one at a time for this, maybe. But.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, and by the way, this game, if you know, some people have probably seen some screenshots of it, but if you guys haven't, then this game was actually a 3D game, and it was, I believe I don't remember the exact description of the exact genre, but it's one of those those shooter games, but not from a side view, from a front view. So like you're just flying through whatever digital hyperspace, and you're just shooting things as you're going by. And one of the things that you're shooting is this dude, Swayze, in his ship. So you're essentially going up against him and like other things in the area. And I don't know if you're doing that for each level, but they did have like a few levels because of probably, or other variations and stuff like that.
Like he was the boss or something. Like on the
he was the boss. I don't know which one, if he was the boss in every one or he was only the boss in like one or two of them. But there were different, they switched things up a little bit, but of course not too much because it's just a free web game. It was not that it was bad, but yeah.
But
it
was
so
cool for, something that's just tossed out for free.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And just after that beta doesn't work because apparently there's like a weird training level or something that doesn't exist in the actual one. Yeah, so it was, but it wasn't a full game. Either way, it's unplayable for some weird reason. That's not like to do with everything else I said earlier. But yeah.
Yeah.
But still, no, this was a fun event. I mean, thinking about being, let's see, I was 10. I'm wondering if I was, I wonder if this was the summer that I was in Puerto Rico. or was it, no, because it was one summer I was in Puerto Rico, and I saw some Dragon Ball in English, and I was like, oh, look at that. And then right after, Johnny Bravo in Spanish, and I was like, ay, Dios mío. Because I didn't speak Spanish that well. So I didn't say that exactly. I probably said, ay, caramba. But still, I was watching Simpsons back then. No, I was frustrated, though, because, like, seeing Dragon Ball in English, so being able to watch Toonami in Puerto Rico, seeing Dragon Ball in English and being like, oh, so there is stuff in English. Cool. And then right after that, Spanish Johnny Bravo, and I was like, this is confusing. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I am Puerto Rican, so am I allowed to say pick a language and stick with it? I don't know. It's just for the channel. It's not to the people. Not to my people. It's just to the channel. I was just like, why is Cartoon Network airing one thing in English right before something in Spanish? It's weird. But no, I don't think that was it. I think it was when I was in Florida, and I think I've told you about this before, Tristan, because when I was in Florida, and it was like one summer where, my mom was like, oh, come on, let's go to Florida with some, family friends, and we were there, and it was nice and everything, but I've been to Florida before, and I just wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Because it's like, I've been to Florida before. I haven't seen these new episodes before, which to me is a fair trade-off for some reason. So what ended up happening, though, was that, what was it? I missed the Garlic Jr. saga. Oh, no, the agony.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but that was the best saga, one person said. But yeah, I sadly missed that saga, so I don't know if this was that summer or not. Either way, funnily enough, speaking of some more anime, you mentioned that Zoids aired around this time as well. Because you were, wait, so yeah, you tell me, you were watching some promos.
Yeah.
Yes, Zoids, Chaotic Century, but like you were telling me you were watching some promos as well with some beautiful Peter Cullen voice work.
Yeah.
What happened? You were just because you were looking it up on YouTube and you just found a bunch of them.
Yeah, pretty much. The one I loved the most was just him talking about hyperspace. Fastest travel in the galaxy, but one mistake, one miscalculation, and it can all go horribly wrong. And you just see like the virus come up and Tom pull out of the chair, and the ship spinning out of control. I'm like, well, they definitely got hyperspace travel down pat. And even the little graphic that they had made up of the Absolution jumping, like Sarah coming up, we're heading into hyperspace, and just the portal opening up as they jump in was actually pretty cool to see. And Tom was like, oh, how long do you think it'll take us, to get back? Maybe a few hours. I wonder where they were. Like, how far away from Earth have you been? And you still are able to broadcast here? Damn. The Absolution has some great range.
First of all, Toonami clearly predicted Wi-Fi. And
clearly.
It's what they did. They just clearly predicted. Granted, I'm pretty sure at the time there was primitive. I say primitive in terms of like there was obviously not only cell phone towers, but like we had in Japan. I love how just random aside because we're going to this nostalgia because fuck it. I love how in Japan because mobile phones were so much popular there at the time than they were here, they actually had something with Pokemon Crystal where they had a Celebi event where you could like get some kind of code. This is the Japanese side of things. So you could actually get Celebi via like a mobile phone code Wi-Fi thing.
Right.
In that version of Crystal. In Goldenrod, there's actually an extra like whole side of the Pokemon Center's map, like when you go inside the center, there's a whole extra side to the right and like a different machine and everything. Not just you can heal your Pokemon obviously, but then you can go over to this random person that we've never seen ever before. She's not like an Officer Jenny. She's not like a Nurse Joy. She's just some random person that's just like, hey, you want the event? And they just got rid of that whole thing for the U.S. side because it was like, no kid has a mobile phone here.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, obviously Wi-Fi existed, but like I don't think, like it literally, it's so funny. Not even just broadcasting, just like the stuff that they broadcast. I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure the Absolution is better than Netflix. I mean,
right.
the type of anime that they were showing at the time. I mean, something like Netflix in the 90s that literally would have never worked due to what 256 kilobyte modems. Tristan. Oh, that technology. So advanced. So advanced. 256 dial-up, Tristan. Do you remember that sound?
Yeah. It's funny. I don't know if I ever had to deal with that. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
At one point I had to deal with, I swear to God, my mom said, Matthew, are you on the computer? I said, yes, I am. Why? Matthew, I can't use the phone because you're using the internet.
Right.
That happened to me when I was a kid, and I said, sorry, Mommy.
Oh,
can I get off? I'll get off
okay.
now.
Right.
What?
We had a computer, like, very, like, probably early 2000s. Or, no. Late 90s, yeah. We had one. My uncle was getting rid of one. I think it was like a Macintosh, but I never went on the internet. I just played games.
Well, of course. You can't trust what's on that internet.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It's just my parents weren't really savvy with, the computer tech. Like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because my mom did, like, troubleshooting for, like, MCI and different stuff like that, but it wasn't always computers. So she knew a little bit more than me and my dad, but yeah.
But it's still funny because, like, in the sense of, like, I played Minesweeper, and like as you and I are playing Minesweeper, we just have like Peter Cullen, fucking Toonami, with all those games.
Yeah.
They're just paying him to do these amazing promos, and we're watching it on TV. But like when it comes to the internet, it's just like, granted, I think I delved into the internet more than you did, but like not to the point where I would consider myself savvier than you. But like I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm the master. Like this isn't like Master Roshi with Goku here.
I knew how to turn it on and off. That was as far as I got at that point.
It's like Karate Kid: turn on, turn off. Turn on, turn off. But yeah. So when it comes to this special, it's one of those weird situations where like I can't. Not that we've been actually rating these, but like I really can't fault it because, granted, I will say this. I'll give it a lot of points, just like with the second one, because it did something at the time that, even though you were not able to go online, if your parents were a little bit more savvy, or I don't know what else could have been, done or changed or whatever, but my point is that, if I don't know, maybe they didn't have good internet either, so maybe it wouldn't have worked, you playing these games, but my point, though, is that it still got us to try, like it got you to think about it. And it got you to think about your home computer. And I have to say that at the time, because I think I might have ragged on the second one a little bit too much because of how good the first one was on its own. Like, I'm not saying the first one was perfect, but like it was good on its own. The game was supplementary. It wasn't integral to me understanding what the fuck was going on. But I do have to admit, and I think I said this a little bit, but I want to go even further into it, gushing about the fact that, at a time, because I think some people listening in right now who are very young, like my students, former students, how old they were in high school, for them, this has always been a part of their life, the internet. Higher speed, maybe not high speed, but higher speeds of internet going on something like Crunchyroll, right? For as long as some of my students have been going on the internet, they've had Crunchyroll, and they've had YouTube, of course, right? We only got YouTube, you and I, in high school. Now we can't, we can probably. It'd be hard to remember for I think you at least a world without YouTube online, because of when you started going online versus when YouTube actually came up. But still, YouTube, has been such a big thing that for some of, my former students and other, teenagers or other people that are, a little bit younger than us, it's just like, yeah, YouTube, that's just, a high-speed internet or higher speed, YouTube playing games on Steam.
Right.
And stuff like that, where I can't really, and I know, developers still do this, but I can't imagine if my computer was good enough for me to play games on it, if I would say, let me go to that dev's website to get their game.
Yeah.
Most likely, unless you're getting something that's, a bit more, not basic, but that isn't like a AAA title or even like an older title or, I don't know, just something big, you would think, oh, did you get that new game? Yeah, it was Steam sale.
Right.
Versus like being able to say, yeah, did you play that game? Yeah, it was on Toonami's website, and it was based on the event that they did. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a night and day thing that it's actually really cool that they got us to kind of sit down in front of a computer, because I'm sure, these animators and these writers, all of them in their line of work moving to computers, they're just like, yeah, this is the future, and we got to help these kids. Maybe not so altruistic, but just this idea that, like, yeah, this is the future. Where people at the time were like, ha, those computers, psh, that's a fad. Well, I think the fad won.
Right.
That's what I kind of mean. Like, at the time, the idea of having a computer was silly. And I say silly in terms of, like, now where it's just like, you want to apply for a job? Well, you better have a fucking computer.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, the huge difference, and granted, of course, it's been nearly 20 years, but still, the huge difference between, then and now. It's just so interesting that, back then it was just like, oh, yeah, that compooper. Yeah, the compooper. But now it's just like, I need the compooper. I need it. And not even in, like, a fun way. Like, oh, to go on Twitter? It's like, no, I need to live through it. It's helping me live. But, yeah, so either way, though, so you remember seeing, so there was apparently a, I don't know if you saw this online because I haven't seen a promo about this, but there was another promotional tie-in Nintendo event. Which is so strange because, for this, yeah. I don't know if you saw like maybe a promo for it because I haven't.
Oh, was it for the, no. That was Lockdown, wasn't it? Didn't Lockdown have one for GameCube?
Oh, yeah, with the GameCube, yes. But this one apparently had one as well, according to the Toonami wiki, but I haven't actually seen it.
Okay, yeah, I haven't either.
No, I'm only curious about it. The reason why I'm curious is because I'm just genuinely kind of, like, wondering, like, oh, did what's it called? Like, did it go under the radar? Did I miss it? And also, it made me think about something that I didn't say last time. Now, last time we knew that the GameCube was first launching in the U.S., so of course they wanted to promote it. But here's something interesting that just kind of, passed my mind, or came to my mind. Nintendo didn't have any shows on Toonami.
No.
But they still looked at, oh no, I'm an asshole. You want to know why?
Why?
So here's something that I also realized fairly recently, which really it shouldn't have taken me this long. I kind of hate myself for it. So do you know who owns Cartoon Network? Or not like who?
Time Warner Brothers, something like that. No.
Yes, Warner
Turner,
Brothers. Yes,
Turner.
no, Warner.
Yeah.
No, Ted Turner, the person, but he owns Warner Brothers.
Right. They had Pokemon.
Warner. But hear me out. Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Kids WB.
Yes, right.
They still, so in a way, when I said, I'm not going to watch Toonami, I'm going to watch the competition, Matt, it was a lie. You were a stupid child.
Right. No, you made this connection last time, too.
Oh, thank God. Okay, well then, you know what? Fuck it. I'm still I'm doomed to repeat it. I'm literally doomed to repeat history.
Right. Well,
no, but seriously though,
Kids WB always did a bunch of sweepstakes too. Like they were really big on that.
Oh yeah, but they made sense
I'm not
because
surprised.
yeah, right. But they made sense though because it was like Kids WB sweepstakes. Enter to win this Pokemon shit because it's like Pokemon's on this, but Pokemon was never on Toonami. Although it's funny because I'm sure I definitely said this last time. I talked to you about how Toonami took over Kids WB and it was really awkward.
Yeah, they had a crossover one week,
which was really confusing to me because I was like, but
so
the
weird.
Absolution shouldn't be on Earth. That was my only issue with continuity.
It was really trippy. Because it was like the animated WB tower, like getting an antenna, and then suddenly the Absolution appears in the sky. I'm like, whoa.
I remember it bursting out of the WB, like the hatch.
Right, yeah.
But no, when I was... I did say, I know I've said this before, but I thought it was off podcast. I do still believe, though, that if I have to compare the two, and it's Toonami or the Cryptkeeper, I think the Cryptkeeper made more sense. Now, it didn't make sense in the sense that we shouldn't have known who the fuck the Cryptkeeper was at that age.
Yeah.
Like, I think they thought we might be able to get those 18 to 35-year-olds if we put in Cryptkeeper and they'll laugh at it like they laugh at, like, bad B-movies.
Right.
But as kids, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't find it funny. I just found it confusing. I mean, actually, I found it a little bit
being
funny.
on Nickelodeon. It was like, what?
Right, but at least Ren and Stimpy was edited down a bit.
It's fair. A bit.
And, of course, Cryptkeeper was, too.
Yeah.
But,
they had their moments.
Oh, shit, I think Cryptkeeper spurred on my love of Halloween in July, which just wrapped up.
Thank you for giving me the exact target I need to go back in time to take out. Thank you, Matt.
Well, you want to know why I think he did?
Yeah.
Because of the whole thing of like, oh, Christmas in July. Like, I think it was like a Christmas at Halloween or something like that. Or he brought Halloween to Christmas time. It was one of those two.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I think, because I think it was like around Christmas time, they had the Cryptkeeper take over and do like his 12 nights of whatever the fuck. And I was like, cool.
12 nights of whatever the fuck.
Because he would just talk about the weirdest things. He's like, remember on this night of Halloween, you should give someone the gift of worms. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because when he was on HBO, he was because the thing is, his show was Tales of the Crypt was also on HBO. So it's like he's on Kids WB and he's just like, wouldn't it be creepy to give someone worms? And he's on HBO and he's like, corpse fucking, crazy shit. You're like, Jesus, night and day.
Right.
Night and day.
Well, that's why it made me so funny when Tom was interacting with whatever his name was. Oh God, I forgot now. The evil dude.
Wait, you mean
the virus?
Oh, you're straight. Yes, Swayze Zach. Yeah, Patrick Swayze Zach.
He was like, oh, you'll never be able to beat me and blah, blah, blah. Or, no, he destroys the terminal that Tom was using. Which he had like an Ethernet cord that he could pull out of like underneath his helmet and plug himself into the ship's systems. Which was kind of funny. But,
Internet, we have to go into the Going into the internet is the most late 90s, early 2000s thing. That's kind of why I understand now what you meant by the cyberspace thing. Because it's just all about, Scooby-Doo. It's just everything at the time. And not everything, but kind of like everything at the time.
Well, yeah, because it was either that or it was space. And Toonami has both. So,
yeah, basically. Oh, here's a random aside. This, by the way, super random, and I want you to finish up just one thing. Super random. Speaking of going into space or going into cyberspace and everything, I'm actually really surprised that, like, Digimon Tri or, like, maybe another Digimon series hasn't appeared on, like, late-night Toonami. I assume it's because they've been edited down, like the older ones, so, like, it would seem weird on a late-night block.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the newer ones, though, maybe it's because they're movies, and that's why it's hard to find a time for them to air.
Yeah, probably.
But still, though, it would be very interesting if the Digimon Tri movies just appeared on Toonami every once in a while. That'd be nice.
It would be.
Just it's the most random aside, but, like, because we're talking about Toonami and, like, I thought about Digimon, and I'm like, yeah, Digimon, that was on Fox, and I'm like, my brain was like, Matt, there's new Digimon. There is! As we didn't talk about that. As if we didn't talk about it on Keikaku Corner recently. It's just like, Matt, there's Digimon Tri. That is correct, brain. Thank you for the reminder.
Right.
But anyway, please continue.
Yeah, so all I could think of was, like, you know, Toonami nowadays. You know, so it's late night. So I'm just imagining you know, the virus destroys the terminal, and Tom just, like, backs away from it as it explodes. Like, what's going on? Like, what did you do? He's like, oh yeah, good luck trying to defeat me now without your precious terminal. All I could imagine was just Tom being like, you're a real dipshit, aren't you? I've got another one down in the hangar bay. Fuck off.
I feel like he'd make some kind of virus STD joke because he's super cool and edgy now that he's late night Tom.
Well, no, I mean I wouldn't say he's edgy.
He's not really edgy. He just curses. No. He curses a little bit. Right.
I feel like the only thing he would have done, he would have, like, the virus would have disappeared off the screen, and he would have been like, wow, that guy is such an asshole. And then just look at Clyde like, come on, we've got another terminal that we can use.
You're right, he would. It would just be very light cursing. It would be the same script, just, wow, that guy's an asshole. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
But no, one thing that I find funny, just imagine, he keeps on cursing late night Toonami. Sarah's like, please, Tom, stop cursing. If you keep cursing, they will put us at 8 o'clock and change your face again. Do you want the flat face, Tom?
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh.
I don't want that flat face, which is why I'm actually...
How early, like Family Guy and American Dad and Cleveland Show are on nowadays. Like,
it's not 8, but it is 9, and it's slowly creeping towards 8, and it's getting weird. But we have to focus on nostalgia, Tristan. We can't focus on the present. What do you think this entire podcast has ever been about?
I know. I'm trying.
Yeah, right. We're trying really hard. But no, one thing I wanted to, speaking of nostalgia, I'm going to talk about the nostalgic lineup at the time of all this, as we've done for the past 2 TIEs. But before we even get to that, the Ethernet thing is actually a really nice touch. I'm happy that you mentioned that because, I almost forgot about that for a second. Again, just the little stuff, just like, hey, kids, this is an Ethernet, and also it's not just the kids too, obviously, because we were watching as kids, but I'm pretty sure that a fair amount of teenagers were also watching Toonami at the time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I feel like there was a cutoff age, though, because, I don't know, I feel like certain teenagers were watching, but then other teenagers were probably like, I got Dragon Ball Z on VHS. I don't need to see this bullshit, thinking that that's, how everyone spoke in Dragon Ball Z, depending on what fan sub they had at the time. So, I feel like some teenagers were, into it, some probably weren't, and I feel like adults, there had to have been a few, but in my opinion, unless they were watching, the late night Toonami, the midnight run, they probably weren't into it, and the reason why I say this is because, again, they could probably access VHS tapes of stuff that was or was never released here, and so they were like, I'd rather focus on that Toonami that's, kids stuff. Not every adult, but I do think that there were probably the majority of adult anime fans at the time, I would imagine, were not interested in Toonami.
Right.
But, But anyway, let's
I mean,
see
it's
here.
funny because for me, I was usually like sitting in the living room with my dad, or my dad would be doing stuff, and then he'd come up and see how I was doing. Because Toonami came on like maybe a little bit after I got home from school, and then but my dad would usually come in and sit like and watch like Dragon Ball Z with me.
No, but I'm not talking about adults like your dad. I mean adult anime fans.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. I was just
because of course adults would watch with their kids. It's kind of what I'm sure Toonami was trying to do, and a lot of shows have tried to do over the years. Even over in Japan, you have a bunch of shows, not just anime related, but in general, that try to get parents to watch with their kids because it's a good bonding experience, and also it's a different demo as well. Like because there's certain shows that I'm not going to name any shows in particular, but certain shows that don't try to do that. They're just like, we're going to make this for the child and not for anybody else. And it's just like, that becomes a problem. Have you ever had to babysit and seen one of those shows that is not meant for, two different audiences? They're trying to balance that. They just become so mind-numbingly grating so fast. What do? You then try to lobby the kid. Maybe you should change the channel. There's a good chance you actually might get them to. So it's kind of like it's usually in a creator's best interest to create something that's good for both the child and the adult in a way. So of course I'm sure your dad enjoyed watching, especially something like Dragon Ball Z. But by the way, did you tell your dad that Toonami came back?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did.
What was his reaction?
I mean, he sort of remembered what I was talking about. I'm like, when we used to watch Dragon Ball Z all the time, he's like, oh, right, I remember now.
I understand why, of course, it didn't mean that much to him compared to Dragon Ball Z, but, because, of course, he's like, oh, the thing that allowed me to watch Dragon Ball Z with you. But, like, still, it's just kind of things like, you remember? And he's just like, that's that standard, like, because, like, I'll talk to my mom sometimes about stuff when I was a kid, and sometimes she's like, oh, of course. And other times she's like, I don't know. And I'm just like, okay, that's okay. It just defined my childhood. Don't worry about it. I'm doing just fine, Mom.
Well, I mean, that's the point, Matt. It defined your childhood.
Yeah, we have to connect with our parents, Tristan. We have to talk to them about Howdy Doody and other shows at the time.
Not gonna lie, I don't think my dad would have watched that.
All right. He was too busy watching giant monster flicks.
Yeah, pretty much watching Godzilla and Gigantor and Astro Boy.
Do you know if he saw any of those, like, Japanese superhero stuff? Not like the ones that I know, because those weren't really brought over. But I'm talking about other stuff, like Johnny Sacco and his flying robot.
That is a possibility.
Okay. You can ask him another time. But anyway, moving on to the actual lineup.
I know which one. Johnny Quest was a big one for my dad, too, I think.
Oh. That's interesting. How old was he when Johnny Quest came out? I wonder. Because that was before our time. Like, when we were getting it on Toonami, even though we didn't really watch it, we didn't really watch the Moltar stuff, but when we were getting it on Moltar, it was older.
Yeah.
But,
I can't remember. Maybe not, but I feel like he's talked to me about that before.
But,
like maybe,
so here's something.
Maybe even He-Man and Thundercats.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, yes. Thundercats, that makes sense. But one thing I wanted to bring up, though, Tristan, is that, we can talk about the schedule change. There was a schedule change, Tristan. Did you know that on May 14th, 2001, the schedule was changed to 5 to 7? I was there. I remember.
I remember, too.
Yeah, because I think they either cut off Sailor Moon or they put it at 5.
Yeah, because it was 4 to 7.
Yes. Oh, they cut off card captors in the U.S. And then June 3rd, 2002, the schedule went back to 4 to 7. Sadly, I don't think I was watching. I think at that point I was so used to watching Kids WB at that 4 o'clock slot. I was like, sorry, Toonami.
Right. You traitor.
But,
traitor!
Yeah. But, I mean, I was, I guess. But talking about some stuff that aired during this time period, this is strange. I don't remember this. Apparently, Batman, the animated series? I remember Batman Beyond.
I remember both. Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember Batman the animated. Maybe I was, because I remember Batman animated series on, I thought that was only on Kids WB. Guess I'm wrong. Big O, I definitely missed that. Blue Submarine #6, I've heard about that in passing. G Gundam, Gundam Wing, the Dragon Balls, Hamtaro, He-Man.
That was something that got me. Yeah, He-Man was on the weekends. That was when they were starting to do stuff for Friday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice it on the weekends then. Or if I did, I didn't really care. Mobile Suit Gundams, Outlaw Star. Gundam is so fucking good.
I know. I kind of want to go back in time and, like, smack myself and be like, sit and watch Gundam, damn it. Because I was kind of in that weird in-between where, as a kid, I still kind of liked more cartoony stuff, but I was really into Dragon Ball. It was really odd. So, like, anime, like, G Gundam to me when I was a kid felt more adult in a weird way when it really wasn't. Yeah, I was weird as a kid.
No,
I mean, it was a bit, but
well, yeah.
like,
Let me explain.
I wouldn't say it was any more than Dragon Ball.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Let me explain. Like, okay, here's because I think some people might be like, "What's Tristan talking about?" And even Tristan, even you're just like, what I'm trying to say. No, here's the thing. What you're trying to say is, when you were a kid, you were like, "Oh, this is not for me."
In a way.
Like it's too adult. Like, oh, should I be watching this? Granted, it wasn't adult like, Tenchi Muyo.
No, I still can't understand how the fuck that made it to the block.
I can't either. And I watched it as a kid.
Like,
I watched Tenchi Muyo as a kid. And I felt so confused, and not in my no-no parts, but I felt, yes in my no-no parts, but I was confused. What I was confused about, Tristan, was how, like, am I allowed to watch this? It's on at 5:30 or like 4:30.
Yeah.
Am I allowed? Because I'm watching it. Is this? What time is it? There's light outside. What is happening?
Yeah.
I was very confused. But still. So yeah. So but it's not like Tenchi Muyo. However, yeah, it felt different to you because in your head you were like, oh, this is like a cartoon, like an action cartoon. When it came to Dragon Ball Z, but with Gundam, I don't know, maybe it was the difference in the animation style, but there was something about it that you were like, this feels like it's not for me.
Yeah.
Now
like
for me,
the giant robots, I feel like the giant robots fighting would have really gotten me, but I think it was more because, and you're gonna laugh at this, you're gonna really laugh at this, because it felt like it was a bit more like about the war itself and like the politics behind it and like people talking.
What I think happened is I think you're mixing up, or your child brain mixed up different Gundams.
Maybe. Because
mine did too. Because Mobile Suit Gundam, both the original and the 8th MS team, those both are more about the war. Right. And I'm sure you probably saw stuff like, like Giant Robot Week or whatever it was on Toonami, and I'm sure that kind of just conflated all of them together for you.
Right.
Because it sure as hell did for me. So I actually tuned out. I didn't watch during Mecha Week or Giant Robot Week. I never watched those. I was like, okay, this is the time I get to watch Toonami. And I realized that I believe I missed Evangelion at one point.
Yeah.
So now I just choke myself. I'm just like, how dare I?
Yeah.
But still, all jokes aside, when it came to G Gundam, though, I was like, oh, is this going to be like the other Gundams, or is it going to be something I don't enjoy? And I don't know why I tried it. Maybe there was just nothing else on. And then when I did, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is just like just like Dragon Ball Z. Again, this is my kid brain. It's just like Dragon Ball Z, but with robots.
Right.
However, yeah.
Like, I saw one of the promos going back, and I saw, him activate, Shining Finger, and grabbing the other Gundam's head and, like, crushing it. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
God, I know this reference now. I know it. Why didn't I watch this? Why?
Oh, you're talking about you saw it years later, and you were like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. No, so for me what happened is, so when I saw it, because again, at first I'm like, this is like Dragon Ball Z, but with robots. And then it was like, I'm looking for my brother. I don't know where my brother is. And I'm like, well, this seems a little bit sadder, but it's still like Dragon Ball Z with robots. And each robot is from a different part of the world. And then all of a sudden, we see the narrator at one point, because we saw him a fair amount. And at one point, we see the narrator, and he's just talking about the fact that apparently the entire world is actually trapped in the arena that is essentially considered the Earth. And that's why they all have to fight, and they actually can't leave the Earth. And they're essentially in, like, one giant showdown. And I'm like, this is different than Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it had a little bit of a darker tone.
It was at that point that I was like, I have a feeling that things are different. I didn't hate it then, but it definitely made me go, wow, there's different forms of entertainment on this block.
Right.
And then, of course, truly showing me there's different forms of entertainment was Hamtaro, that I was like, there really is.
Yeah.
Things are quite different.
Oh, God, that was hilarious. Because, like, I saw the promos, so, like, the lineup was Hamtaro at 4, then Zoids, Chaotic Century, then G Gundam, then Powerpuff Girls? Yeah, Powerpuff Girls. I might be missing something in there, but Powerpuff Girls, and then they had Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Right. So I definitely didn't see Powerpuff Girls. I may have snuck in to see Hamtaro because that was actually really fun to catch every once in a while. Like there was something about Hamtaro that I was like, oh, I guess I said this to you earlier. I think because it was so much different than everything else. Because something like Powerpuff Girls, as much as I loved it, I'm like, I could, if it wasn't something I'd never seen before, like of Powerpuff Girls, I'm like, I could see it elsewhere on Cartoon Network. This wasn't new.
Right.
Something else I want to mention because we're still going on with the list of what aired this year. Reboot, Powerpuff Girls, Ronin Warriors, Sailor Moon, Superman the Animated Series, which I definitely never watched. Nothing against Superman, I just never really watched it. Tenchi in Tokyo, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Thundercats, Transformers Armada, did not watch that either. Yu Yu Hakusho, I think we watched a little bit of that. Zoids New Century Zero, and Chaotic Century. Zoids was always something I was like in and out of. It was weird.
Yeah, me too. Like I saw some of the bots. Like I remember the White Tiger, and I remember the giant black raptor.
Yeah.
And Chaotic Century had the raptor.
I remember the White Tiger, but also because it reminded me of Power Rangers with the White Tiger Zord.
Right.
So that's why my brain was like, hey, that's, I know you. Yeah. But anyway, so, Giant Robot Week. That's what it was actually called. Yeah, Giant Robot Week. And, wow. There's some super interesting shows. Gigantor, obviously. Gigantor.
Right.
Martian successor, Nadesco, which I've heard amazing things about. Die Guard, which I've also heard great things about, and yeah, a fucking heavily edited version of Neon Genesis Evangelion aired with parental advisory.
Shit.
Yeah. Wow. Now, granted, they aired the whole actual thing on Adult Swim,
Right.
but still, like, it's nuts that actually, Because I thought it aired, but again, I wasn't watching because I was a fucking idiot. Like, because if I watched it, I would have been, like, that definitely would have changed what I looked up online.
Yeah.
No, because at the time, I did look up stuff online to try to get the scoop on, like, DBZ and see what might be coming up on the DBZ. But other than that, and maybe even some Digimon stuff, maybe some Pokemon stuff as well. But other than that, I didn't really use the internet for much when I was 10. But other than that, so if I had seen Evangelion, I'd be like, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna try to get something on this. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Other than the one time I had to do like the pee-pee dance while watching Goku versus Frieza and hearing 5 more minutes, and I'm like, in 5 more minutes, I will pee on this carpet. God damn it, Frieza! I turn Super Saiyan on the spot. I become Goku.
Oh my god.
Oh
yeah,
God.
That was another thing. Going through the old promos, seeing the promos for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. That brought back some happy memories.
What was But did you see the promos like for around the exact time in 2002, or just in general?
Yeah, no, in 2002 when they were doing ones they were doing for Hyperspace.
Oh, then yeah. So what was happening in DBZ at the time? I want to know if I was right about my garlic shooter thing. Before we wrap this
no,
up.
they were in Boo Saga.
When I was 10.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because it was they finished up in 2003 with that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting because those memories are very vivid.
Yeah. So, I remember because the promo gave me chills, or really made me feel, like this arc was different in a way. Like, Cell made me think like, oh crap. But like Boo, like, they were saying, the wrath, the announcer coming on, Majin Buu and Babidi rage across the planet, and it's just Boo blowing up planets. And they're like, Earth's warriors are falling one after another. You see Gohan passed out on the ground. You see Vegeta crumble away into stone. And it's like Goku getting up after Vegeta knocked him out. And he's like, even Goku's going to need help for this one. But then they flash to, Goten and Trunks, and I think they end it as he's, as they're fusing, and they end it with, sometimes it's darkest just before the light, and Gotenks fuses, and he just gives that grin. And I'm like, oh god, I remember these. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Darkest.
So good.
The darkest just before the light thing has, I'm sorry everybody, but I have to, for journalism's sake, I have to say this on air. I have an erection. This is journalism, everybody. We're journalists.
The people who worked on Toonami for their promos were just really good at what they did.
Oh yeah, no, they were not paid enough. I don't know what they were paid, but it was never enough.
It was never enough.
No, it's never enough. Here's a random aside. I don't know if we should end it on this, but here's a random ass aside. Pokemon Indigo League in 2002 aired briefly on Toonami Jetstream if you remember Jetstream.
I do, actually, yeah.
Yeah, me too. As a special to promote Pokemon Snap for the Wii Virtual Console. All of those words are both old but new, but things I didn't know about, like 2002 and the Wii Virtual Console.
Right. Oh, God.
What? 2002? And these episodes originally aired in syndication and on Kids WB and were rerun during the regular Cartoon Network schedule. Because at this point, it seemed like we had it both on Cartoon Network and WB, I guess. But yeah, no, that was just really weird. Anyway, Anything else you want to say about this? About this Toonami or the lineup or Tom, the fact that he survived hyperspace.
Oh, the one thing I wanted to mention about the special itself, I thought it was interesting that it wasn't Tom really getting attacked this time. I mean, granted, in Lockdown, it was their whole ship being pulled in, but this was the first special that it was specifically Sarah that got targeted, and Tom's like, oh, crap, I need to get Sarah back, because I cannot fly this ship without her.
Yeah, no, it's actually interesting because, some would call it a damsel in distress situation. But in this case, it's like, no, I actually can't. It's not like she's the princess. It's like, no, she's my navigation. We're going to die.
I literally cannot fly this ship without Sarah's help.
Yeah, so it's an interesting situation where, with Princess Peach and Mario, it's not like, even though, they love each other, we know this now anyway. At the time, I don't think we knew that they were actually an item, but still with Peach and Mario, it's kind of like Mario doesn't need Peach to live. It's not like Mario's like, no, you don't understand. Without the Peach, I die. It's like, what? It's a whole thing, It's like, wait, what? No, but seriously, what is it? So in this case, it's like, no. If we don't get Sarah back, we will all crash into the earth, and we will die. We kind of need Sarah.
It was nice because, I don't know, it was sweet at the end because even, after they say, oh, yeah, the Earth is fine, it looks like actually a lot of people were helping us out. It wasn't them, automatically, going, saying, we need your help like they did in Lockdown. It was kind of like, yeah, Earth kind of came to save our asses. That was actually pretty cool. Thanks, guys.
Yes, because even though I still have my problem with it, it's a lot better than – because, I mean, look, it's nice the first time to be like, hey, they're not used to this. Let's actually kind of make it seem like it's a Dora the Explorer thing. But in this case, even though, it's still a similar situation on paper, in the execution of it, it does make it seem like, yeah, no, they helped, but also it was me. I am the one running the show, like Tom. Because, if it's too much us, it's just kind of like a thing where it's just like, how do I explain it? It's like the Dora the Explorer situation where it's like, can you tell me what's going on? If I never say anything, she'll still say correct.
Right.
That's the thing, where it's kind of like, but in this case, I like that it was like, oh, they helped, but if I didn't help, then that's fine too, I guess. Do you know what I'm saying? Tom was getting shit done. It wasn't just like, oh, no, I need you, otherwise I will not be able to do anything. And I didn't help Tom. Phil thanked me. It haunted me for years, Tristan. Such a selfless. No, I'm kidding. It better. Fuck you. Love you.
But
one thing I want to say.
It always felt like Tom and Sarah were a team, every moment. And I'm pretty sure in Intruder, Tom was like, thanks, Sarah, thanks for the save, and also, telling me about the new body because I kind of needed that. And in here, Sarah returns the favor too. At the very end, she's like, "Oh, and Tom, yeah, what's up? Thanks for coming after me. Thanks for saving me." It's like, my pleasure, Sarah. My pleasure.
Yeah, no, it was nice. And one thing I want to mention as well, before we officially wrap this baby up, because we really should. Stephen Blum, usually great voice actor. In this case, I don't know, maybe he was just really young at the time, especially compared to now, not even just with Tom, but in general. But I feel like he was trying to put on a Tom voice, and in doing that, it came off as, no, because, listen to him when we have, Bionicle Man, Patrick Bionicle Swayze, when he's like, I'm going to destroy all of you, and he asks, who is he? He's like, who are you? In a way that I'm like, wait, you really don't seem like you would think it'd be like, wait, who are you?
It didn't flow now.
Who are you? Yeah, because I feel like at the time he's trying to do the voice, but now I think, again, as you grow as a voice actor, I feel like now he'd be like, who are you? In a very passionate, meaningful way, but also still sound like Tom.
Right.
It's hard to explain unless you go back. and listen to it.
Yeah, no, I think I get you. And at the very end, they were like even, Tom was saying, like, I feel like, or I don't know, there was something about that guy. I'm like, was he like a reference at some old point? Like, maybe Moltar went up against him or something? I don't think so, but like, they made
No,
it
but I'm
seem
pretty
like
sure he appeared elsewhere. I just don't know where else. Let me see. He made a cameo appearance in Sarah's game review of Rez.
Huh.
I don't know what Rez is. I don't know if it appeared before 2002. Let me see. When did Rez? Oh, this looks old enough. No, it's newer. Sarah's like a full body with the pixie haircut.
Yeah, right.
But apparently he made a cameo in that. That's weird. No, I don't know why. I mean, maybe they were going to do more with him, but they never did.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because, he made a cameo once, and that's it.
Right.
And this is according to Toonami Wiki, which I know, some people are like, really? But in my head, I'm like, they would know.
Yeah.
Toonami Wiki would keep tabs on that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so either way, we're going to wrap things up here. We've gone down the rabbit hole. We've gone down nostalgia lane far too much. We have to pull ourselves out of it.
We've gone down the hyperspace hole.
We have. We really, really have. We want to thank you all so much for listening in, as always.
Oh,
don't know where you're listening in.
I just thought.
What?
So this could be our TIE, our Those Guys immersion event, and we can be trapped in podcast. Damn
We're trapped in
I thought
podcast.
about that too late. At the end.
It's fine.
At the end, only do I think of the good ideas.
It's okay. Well, I'll write it down. We'll do it. We'll do it another time. Anyway, love you all. Take care. Before you go, I want to know where you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on our YouTube channel, then please comment down below. YouTube channel being Those Guys on the Radio. Or you could be listening to us through our iTunes by searching up Those Guys on iTunes. Haven't mentioned iTunes in a while. Or maybe on our Blog Talk Radio account, blogtalkradio.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio. You could be listening to us. Dear God, what happened to I Porky Pigged the shit out of that. You could be listening to us through either one of those.
Are you putting on a map place?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is you could also see us not only play video games, but also do game reviews and a bunch of other amazing gaming content. Now, amazing, perhaps. I might be biased. Amazing gaming content over at our Those Guys Play YouTube channel, youtube.com/ThoseGuysPlay. If you want to help keep the lights on and help support us, you go to two places, or actually three. You can go to our TeePublic channel or account, teepublic.com/ThoseGuys, and buy a few T-shirts from us there, help support the channel. Or you could go over and buy some other T-shirts. We're slowly moving over some of our designs over to our TeePublic account. But right now we also have some other shirts available at our tgproduction.net/merchandise page. And you can also go to our Patreon, patreon.com/TGProductions. By going to our Patreon, not only can you help keep the lights on, but also, depending on what tier you give to, you can actually help us either if it's a Kikaku Corner episode, which is where we talk about different anime, manga, comic book news. If it's a Kikaku Corner thing, you can actually help us pick certain topics to talk about. We'll maybe have some polls up available, stuff like that, or do Q&As, both for either Kikaku Corner or for Those Guys Play. And different games that we can actually play or review or things like that, as well as different podcasts, right? You could be like, hey, I would love for you to review this TIE, or I would love for you to talk about your top 5 favorite anime that appeared on Toonami. There are a bunch of interesting combinations. It doesn't just have to be a review of something. It could also be like a top 5 list or something like that as well. Also want to mention as well that we have our TG Productions YouTube channel. We have some new shows coming to that channel, so keep stay tuned. Keep looking at that. And if you want to you should subscribe to all these channels. But let's say you're like, Matt, I subscribe, but I'm not always on YouTube. How do I find your stuff? Well, you can go over to our Facebook, facebook.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, or you can actually go to our Twitter @ThoseGuysRadio. And I mentioned earlier our website, which we post all our content on, tgproduction.net. All right, guys, thank you all so much. Love you all, and take care. Tune in next time for something completely different.
Later.
Later.